667 Yonge Street on the second floor for part of the Karma Cup Speaker Series.
We're at Vapor Central 2018 Karma Cup Speaker Series.
And now, with no introduction needed on this very stage, because I think he actually christened this stage, is cannabis champion of the world himself, and now education specialist at Peace Naturals and home growing instructor at the Ganja School, our very own Mr. Matthew Myrna.
All right, here we go. You want me to stand up here? Oh, geez. Got like the great shoes on today. It's good to be back on the Vapor Central stage. It's really nice up here. It's fun. I'm not going to teach cannabis growing in 15 minutes. It's just not happening. I just can't do it. I don't have a deck to begin with. We work with a presentation deck at Ganja School. It is either every Tuesday night for 2 hours, goes for a month, so you get 8 hours of classroom time. And then we also do a weekender. We call it the Weedender, and it goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And on the Weedender, it's also about 8 hours of learning, and it really helps for growers. It's been a great experience teaching cannabis growing to people, because people like you and people that are watching on Cannabis Culture, a lot of you already know how to grow. You're growing yourselves, you're already doing it, or you're already at that point where you're confident enough that you're just going to put seeds in the ground and you're going to grow some cannabis. I would recommend that if you are confident, the first thing you're going to need, though, is the Marijuana Grow Bible by Green Candy Press. My book is available from Green Candy Press, so you can potentially buy my book, Marijuana Smoker's Guidebook, and pick up the Marijuana Grow Bible as a combo deal. That said, the Grow Bible is the master document. You're only going to need the first 120 pages of it to learn how to grow. It's basically my book that I use to teach people to grow cannabis from, because it is so detailed. It's so wonderful. You can also look through that guide, and you can see the Peace Naturals facility. We have about 40 photos in there from Peace Naturals, and you can see what's going on there. Yep. Question?
I'm going to try to get this mic on, but maybe it's not. So some just basic questions that I know that we've gotten asked.
Basic questions?
Is what sort of strains are good for a first-time grower?
Oh, sort of first-time grower strains. That's perfect. I work with my buddy Jordan of the Island. He's been breeding seeds since 1994. He's also a sponsor of the Karma Cup. I always recommend that people look for what we call easy to grow, friendly novice grow plants. Stuff that's easy to grow is like Jordan of the Island's God Bud, some LA Confidential, anything on the indica side, because they tend to be, as I like to call them, big eaters. You need a plant that you can slightly abuse, because you're going to end up abusing it. And by that I mean you might overfeed it, you might get your pH meter incorrect. Those are some issues that you're going to face. Skunk number 1 is also a lovely strain that I like recommending, but you're going to look for something that's first-timer friendly. Those are the words that we use over at Jordan of the Island. And our goal is to get you to seed to harvest. That's what our class is called. So we teach our students, hey, look at some of the easiest indicas to grow, and they're also fast flowering, so you'll get a finishing time that's pretty quick.
Are there some strains that are better suited to indoor or outdoor growing?
Indoor-outdoor growing. These days, you don't see a lot of that. You used to see back in the old Mark Emery seed catalog days, they'd be like indoor-outdoor or outdoor-only. We've grown one that was outdoor labeled, and we decided to try and bring her indoors to see what we could do. Ended up hermaphroditing on us, so we do a lot of those types of tests. These days, most of the seeds you're going to come across are for indoor. Again, anything of the Dutch, any of the Amsterdam breeders, generally those are all being bred these days for indoor growing. And if you are growing outdoors, make sure you're looking for a variety that can complete in the time period in which the season is. You don't want cannabis out near the end of October, that's for sure.
So that's my next question. What are
Autoflowering seeds. Oh, that's a great question. I'm just answering genetic questions. That's great. Autoflowering seeds are seeds that they run on 18 hours of light, 6 hours of darkness, and unlike the traditional seeds that are regulars or feminized, they don't require a photo period, in which case, in the regular seeds, you're going to have them growing for on 18 hours, 6 hours of darkness. Your autoflowers, you're going to switch to 12-12 to create flowering. From there, you're going to, in the autoflowers, you're just going to leave them on 18 hours and 6 hours of darkness, and they grow fast. You can probably get 4 turns, so 4 grows a year growing with an autoflower. And we just produced Dynafem's OG Kush, and let me tell you, we give that to more people and be like, yo, check this OG Kush out that we grew. Then they find out it's an autoflower, and their minds are even more blown. They're like, how did you grow this? I'm like, yeah, man, 100 grams per plant, 77 days, motherfucker, from seed. Yeah, take that. There you go. Sure, you're doing on a roll here.
What are feminized seeds, and what should an average yield be?
Well, average yield, I don't like really encouraging average yields in terms of like people when they first start out to like put a big number in their head, like I'm going to grow a pound because I got the space and I got the light. I would always aim on the side of caution whenever we talk about our grow classes. We're always erring on the side of like less is more. It's simply because we don't want to give you this big number in your head where you're like, yeah, you should grow a pound there. And you grow like a quarter pound, and then you're totally disappointed. We try and convince people like anywhere between 30 and 90 grams a plant, you're probably doing quite well in terms of your space. And you asked about feminized seeds. Feminized seeds are guaranteed to flower for you. So regular seeds, again, we teach this in the class quite a bit, and we use a lot of sexual connotations in the class in terms of, you know, the male plant. It does have balls. It has ball sacks on there full of pollen, and it will, you know, produce, it's going to pollinate. Sorry, I had to think of that word. It's first thing in the morning. And it's going to pollinate your female plants that are in there. It's interesting that they went to feminized seeds because it's, I don't know, I find sexing a cannabis plant kind of easy. I just pull up the photos even this time. I've been growing 20 years now, and I still pull up those photos of sexing a cannabis plant that are online. It's just, yep, those were what ball sacks look like, but I'm going to make sure I know what they look like before I go in there and pull a plant, just to reassure myself.
What is the most common, or what are some of the most common mistakes a first-time grower makes?
Oh, most common mistakes first-time growers make. Oh, we see, not paying attention to their plants. And that's what we teach in the class, one of the most important aspects of the class. I mean, you're dedicating 8 hours to learning this subject. And then one of the things we're saying, like, if you're dedicating that much time to it, dedicate that much time to your plants. And people just not paying attention to your plants. If you're paying attention to your plants, you're going to get seed to harvest, not a problem. You're going to recognize nutrient burn if you're burning the tips of your plants. You're going to recognize problems long before they happen if you're spending some time with those plants, and that's what we really encourage. So first-time growers, they can have any type of mistake from, like, having bad germination rates because they used the paper towel method and they didn't put it in a cup of water, overwatering, underwatering, all kinds of issues of that sort. Too much nutrients is generally what you're looking for. And the biggest one in I'll get you 5 points on any cannabis cup that you enter. I'll get you the 5 out of 5. Most new growers and seasoned veterans don't flush their cannabis plants for shit. There's nothing like having this great-looking bud and then having the ash be in charcoal. So I got to encourage you, 3-week flush. That's what my friend Remo Nutrients recommends. He's like, I'm at the 3-week flush now, Matt. You got to get rid of all those nutrients because it ends up in your final product. It wrecks how it smells, how it tastes, especially how it burns. These are things like all you have to do. It's the simplest motherfucking task, growers. The simplest fucking task. Most of you fail or you get average. You know why Jose wins so many awards? Because he fucking flushes his plants. There's nothing worse than smoking unflushed cannabis, and this is something we stress in the class. You can totally tell. It's the simplest task. New growers, old growers, the majority of growers forget to flush their plants. They're trying to jam nutrients up to the last 10 days, last week of growth, and then they try magically get rid of all that nutrient salt. It's just not going to happen. 3 weeks, friends. 3 weeks. Get a nice, pure, clean, nice white ash. You know what? That's a 5. You just got 5 points, and in any cannabis competition, trust me, everybody's high on the product that they've smoked, so that everybody gets a good score there. Everybody generally gets a good score for smell and taste, but man, everybody forgets the flush. That's 2 extra points for you.
So, I guess I have 2 more questions.
2 more questions. Here we go.
What is your favorite tool or your favorite piece of gear in your toolbox? What should every grower have?
Every grower. Jeez. Meters are good. PBM meter, pH meter. The truncheon is nice. Every grower should have. Oh, those are like, every grower's got like their own little toys. I don't have toys. I don't even have a favorite toy. It just does what it does.
Actually, you do have a bit of a favorite toy. I'm going to say, so what do you do with your leftovers?
Oh, well, the leftovers, that's not a grow room toy. We use the Pollen Ator. Yeah, that's the one thing. I mean, it's not a toy. I mean, like, I'm more like, I got a volcano vaporizer in my chill space and an e-nail and stuff. When it comes to growing's not toys. It's a hobby, like brewing beer or something, where you're just like, yep, going to replace those meters. I'm going to upgrade that. Oh, got to replace that bulb for $100. Oh, yep. Had that ballast for 5 years. Better replace that. Oh, that fan stopped working. Got to call something on Amazon. It really isn't about toys when it comes to growing. If people are talking about toys and, look at all this great shit that helps me grow plants, you don't want to learn to grow weed from that guy. You want the guy that's like, yeah, man, like, you can, like, use a closet and drop some tin foil down there. I don't recommend you do it, but, yeah, I've been there, man. I've been there. Little Mylar, black, white plastic. Like, we'll help you. Like, obviously grow tents, but, man, if you're on a budget, anybody should be able to grow on a budget of some kind. Like, even if you're going out and you're buying those real crummy green lights that you're trying to produce weed with, like, I'll help you on a budget, because if you can grow some pot, then you're saving money on buying pot, which if you reinvest back into your grow, you're fine. So that's one thing I look at with people. I mean, at Hotbox Homegrown Hydroponics, they sell kits. So they have like the condo kit, that's like $500. They have another kit that's $1,000. What I recommend to people is figure out how much money you spend on cannabis in a month, in a year. Like, at $500, like, do you spend that in a quarter? Like, every 4 months I'm spending $500. Well, maybe you want to buy that grow tent for $500 instead, friend, and save money in the end. Like, you would save, like, well, you still got 8 months left of the year, divided by 2. You're saving like $1,000 right there, But don't think that, hey, once I buy the initial setup, I'm good. Usually you're going to have to replace stuff. Like, oh, man, that thermometer stopped, or the temperature stopped working, and humidity and all that. So, like I said, Ganja School is 8 hours. It's designed to get you from seed to harvest. We try and create a really great learning atmosphere where people are encouraged to bring us your questions and bring, a discussion. We work around in a circle. I have a 120-page deck with photos, so you get the deck as part of your graduation. These are things that, to me, I want you to succeed, because, like, the guy working the board here today, my friend Chris, he took the class, and he just handed me 2 fucking sweet nugs. Those are beautiful nugs. And if I get more people just, like, growing cannabis handing me pot back, I'm a pretty happy guy. And that's kind of my role in the city, I think. Let's, like, up our growing game. We'll gladly get you started. The class is $250 this fall. It's a fair price. We've done all the research. Some of the other ones are up to $700. And it's a commitment. We're going to walk you beginning to end. We're going to answer all your questions. I mean, we've had people from Vaughan. We've had people as far as an hour and a half away come take the class. And it's like they bring the guy from Vaughan, who was a construction worker. He's like, if I design a room, will you, like, look for flaws? I'm like, yeah, man, for sure. So we're going to help you on any of those things. So come to us, with what you want to learn. And even if you're growing now, we're going to up your game. I'm going to show you all kinds of secret tips. The beautiful thing about hanging out with, like, Remo and Redbeard and having opportunity to meet so many growers, every grower is a chef. They have their own style. They have their own methods. They have their own little secrets and tips. And if you can learn a whole bunch of my secrets and tips, you're going to get growing great. Because I've learned and have taken some of the best tips from some of the best growers possible. like Remo nutrients, put your seeds in a cup of water method. I was using paper towel up until I saw Remo do that. I was like, whoa, you can do that?
Yeah.
And it's true. I guess the other thing about taking a class is that if you go into Facebook, there's like the ACM PR Grow Canada and some of those ACM PR Grow groups. And if you have a problem and you show a photo on, you're like, hey, here's a photo. Tell me what's wrong with my plant. And you got like 50 comments and 50 guys all saying something different. And 40 of them are like negative and hateful. With the class, we're going to be there for you in the end. If you follow my instructions, you create a grow journal, and you say, hey, Matt, what's up with my plant? Can you take a look at some photos? I'm there for you. Obviously, that's what we try and do.
And for some of our online viewers, hopefully there will be an online Ganja school soon enough. You'll be able to teach an online course as well.
It's a little challenging to do because we have to gate it so that people can pay. It's unfortunate aspect of all this now. I mean, if you're on ODSP, catch me and you can make it into the market. We can help you. We can do things for some people. So
how do people find you?
They can find me at Hotbox Homegrown, and you can buy at hotbox.ca.com to buy tickets for that.
And Hotbox is located in Toronto's Kensington Market, for those of you that don't know.
That's right. You can find me online at Myrna on Twitter, and that's probably the best way to find me these days.
Awesome. So thank you very much, my wonderful friend and presenter, Matt Myrna, as being part of the Cannabis Cup Speaker Series.
Yeah, I'm back here tomorrow. And just a quick pitch. I'm back here tomorrow at 4 o'clock with John Fowler from Supreme. So you got like 2 people that work for licensed producers. I'm not hiding it. I do work for a licensed producer. I'm their education specialist, by the way.
Our next presenter is, in fact, the CEO of a licensed producer.
Awesome.
So we have a very, very mixed crowd here as part of the Karma Cup series.
I appreciate it.
We are very much aware of we are in a transition period.
We are. And at 3 o'clock, Peace Natural's head of director of extraction, Gord Hagen, is here presenting the challenges of legal extracts. We've been able to actually get one of our employees, so it's easy for me to do it with my team. But tomorrow is really special to me. Gord's an awesome person. He's 28 years old. He has a master's in this. It's going to be a great presentation. So please tune in if you're at home, or if you're at the Karma Cup, come on down and see us at 3 p.m.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much, Matt. All right, and as and I have to say thanks for the shout out. Jose, the grower with the great flush, that's my grower. So I'm sure Jose Dominguez will be very happy to hear that you got a shout out for Mr. Myrna.
And be down there for the vendors. There's 60 to 80 vendors down there or something?
There's going to be live art. There's going to be live glass blowing. There's music.
Weed, lots of it.
The festival is going to be off the hook.